Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Slacker82alpha. Maverick in the booth. Lock the doors. Nobody gets out. Nobody. Left side lying. Right side crying. Think of the names on the ballot. Throw the whole box in the gutter. Red tie, blue tie, same vulture. Feeding on the scraps of the street. You talk big from the hill, but the basement is flooding. Promises rot in the sun, like trash on the curb. I see the wolf in the vest, see the wolf in the vest. You think you are untouchable. I am the heavy hand, I am the cold wake-up call. No more handshakes, no more fake smiles, just the raw truth slamming into your chest. No one is safe, Maverick is here. The wrath is coming down. Break the lock, kick the door. No one is safe. Truth is like a hammer. Truth hits is like a hammer. Red or blue, you all fall. Slacker82alpha. I don't care who you vote for. You are all getting played. The system is a rusted trap, and I am the one with the bolt cutters. Shout it till your lungs burst. Shout it's ugly and loud. The truth is ugly and loud. Stop looking for a hero. Look at the dirt on your hands. They sell you a vision, then they steal your boots. I am the noise in the alley, the grit in your teeth. I keep your head down, or get it taken off. The truth is out. Maverick is the judge. Court is in session. Shut it down. Slap down. Slacker82alpha. We out. Mic check.
All right, this is Maverick. Welcome to Slacker82alpha Show. All right, so yes, it's going to be a little different. I know you guys, we haven't been on in a while. There's been some changes to the show. Some good, some bad, I guess. Depends who you are and what you think. Obviously, I'm still here, the creator of the show. Goose and Bravo are no longer with part of the show. I wish them well. They went off to do other things. Creative differences, let's just say that. It happens. I mean, the show, we ran for 10 years. I mean, it got away from the show that I created. We took we went in a different direction than I liked. And then we decided to just finish it up. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to keep going. So here I am. The show's going to be different than you're used to, probably. It's going to be back more for those people who used to listen to us in the beginning, who've been listening to us, since we started this show. We used to, attack everybody, go after everybody. Nobody was safe, and that's the way it's going to be this time. There is no, one's better or whatever, or this guy, does nothing wrong, and we have to agree with everything that he says and does. That's not me. I don't do that. Those of you who have been listening to the show for all these years know that. So here we are, So let's, there's a lot going on since the last show that I did. Operation Epic Fury has been going on. Unless you've been under a rock, you know that we're at war with Iran. Well, it depends who you listen to, because if you listen to Trump, he says it's a conflict, it's a mini war, all these little different names that we are hearing. I mean, we just call it what it is, a shit show. That's what it is. I mean, it was ridiculous. We should have never gone in the first place. I don't agree. Well, let me see. Let's see. We were, as of May 1st, we passed the 60-day mark of this mini war. How about we'll call it that? Since that was the last thing that Trump called it. Yeah, it's just that for me, I don't agree. I don't agree that we should have ever went. I mean, look, we spent what, over $25 billion so far in this war. Lost 13 soldiers, which we shouldn't have lost. Hundreds more injured. It just doesn't make sense to me. It was not a good decision, and I wish that he would have listened to his advisors, on that. Let me go back a little bit here. Let's just say one thing, because I know some of you are going, "Oh, he's talking about Trump. Oh, how dare him? He's supposed to be a Trump supporter." Look, I've been a Trump supporter since he walked down the aisle. Since he walked down the escalator in 2016 when I started this show. Just because I have changed my tune a little bit, I'm still a supporter of his. But those of you, again, who've been listening to the show for all these years know that I'm a very hard on him too when he does dumb things or says something stupid, or I just have to. I mean, that's me. That's who I am. I call it as I see it. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't sway because, it might not make me popular, because those, again, you guys have been listening to me, know that I don't give a crap about that. So, all right, so let's go back. We decided to hit Iran. We decided to go because, according to Trump, they were 2 weeks away from a nuke. Now, those of you who remember, back in August of last year, we decided to strike Iran because they were going to get a nuke. We were told that it was total obliteration. We destroyed everything. We destroyed their capabilities. We sent them back years and years, that they would never be able to get one, because we demolished everything, all their underground places where they were building things and doing all this stuff, and we destroyed everything. And then fast forward to February. Was it February 28th, I believe, or what it was? And the end of February, that we decided to bomb them again. Meanwhile, people aren't listening to this and aren't saying this, but we were negotiating with Iran prior to this last decided to go to war thing. We were negotiating, and they were negotiating in good faith. They were at the table, agreeing to do what we wanted them to do. And then out of the blue, Israel comes and whispers in Trump's ear and tells Trump, "Oh no, you got to get them. They're our intelligence says that they got a nuke, and they're going to use it against you." Now, first of all, Iran doesn't have the capability to nuke the United States. They don't have it. None of their missiles can reach that far. I mean, we all know that. I mean, it's a known fact. They've even admitted the fact that they don't have anything that has the capability to reach us. Can they reach our assets in other places? Absolutely, they can. And they've already shown that they can do that. But this wasn't, we had to do this because, Trump says, "Oh, they were 2 weeks away. I mean, they were going to nuke us. American people should feel better now, safer," is what he said. I don't feel any safer. I mean, I wasn't worried that Iran was going to nuke us anyway. And I'm sure a lot of people weren't, but nope, Trump said so. So that's the case. Again, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with him saying that they were 2 weeks away. I mean, first it was we got to go in and regime change. All right. So they took out Khomeini. Yep, big deal. I mean, big deal. It's a great thing. We took him out. Oh no, but there's 10 more behind him. It's not like we took him out and there's nobody, and then Trump was going to handpick somebody, according to him, that was going to work well with us. Iran said, "Screw you. That's not going to happen. We have other people that we're going to put in place." But and that's the thing, and that's what's been going on. I mean, Trump says one thing, Iran says something else. I mean, you got to decide who is telling the truth. I mean, look, I'm not supporting Iran in any way, but they haven't lied of the things that they were going to do. I mean, look, before we decided to bomb them, was the Strait of Hormuz open? Absolutely, it was. Was there any problems? Nope. It was going, it was flowing, oil was flowing, and boat ships were flowing. Everything was working well. As soon as we decided to bomb them, what'd they do? They closed it. I mean, and they said they were going to close it, and they did, and they've kept it closed. I don't care what Trump says. Oh, well, we did this, we did that, we destroyed their navy, we destroyed their air force. We might have, but we heard that we've also destroyed their capability of, all their missiles and their supplies and drones. But yet, just up till what, yesterday, day before yesterday, they lobbed a bunch of missiles into Dubai and flying drones. So somebody's lying here. I know for all you hardcore Trump supporters who are saying, "Oh, this guy's crazy. Oh, you got to listen to Trump. Trump tells the truth." Well, you know what? I think Trump's playing with us a little bit. He's playing with the market, is what he's doing. And this is my opinion. My opinion is he's playing with the market and the way things are. And I'm sorry, the dog is barking. He's playing with the market. That's all he's doing. He's he saw that the market was tanking, that the stock market was tanking, the oil market was tanking. Oh, all right. Well, we reached an agreement. We're about to reach an agreement with Iran, and and now everything's going to be great. Oh, okay. Well, what happened? The oil prices dropped. So oh, look at that. The oil prices went down. And then soon as Iran said, I don't know who he's negotiating with, because he's not negotiating with us. And then you got to say, well, it just doesn't. There's a lot of things that just don't make sense to me. This whole thing about, I go back to the same thing I just said. I don't agree that we were an imminent threat. Look, Iran's been a problem for what, 47 years, right? I mean, we know that. They've done things. They've killed people. They've killed Americans. But as far as a nuke, that they're toting out there, and Trump keeps repeating over and over and over again. Oh, we destroyed their navy. We destroyed and we destroyed their. They were going to nuke us. What did he say in the office the other day? All those kids there. Oh, we wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here right now if I didn't do this. I mean, give me a friggin' break. You didn't do anything. All right, you took out Khomeini. Great. You may have set them back with their navy and their air force. I'll even give you that. But their capabilities to do things are still there. They've held the Strait of Hormuz since the beginning of this so-called war that we're in with them. They've held it, and we've done nothing to try to take it. And I think because we knew we couldn't. It was so fortified. It is so fortified, that strait, that they knew that we could not take it. And if we tried, it was going to be huge casualties for us and for them, but it would be huge casualties for us. And the American people wouldn't stand for that. I mean, look, I didn't vote for Trump to go to other countries again. He ran on no new wars, no new messy wars, no foreign, no regime changes, no that. And what did he do? He's done the complete opposite of what he ran on. I mean, Venezuela, we took up Maduro. Was Maduro a big problem? Maybe. Yes. The drug problem, the drugs flowing out of there. Yes. Okay. I agree. But did we do anything really? I mean, did we do anything really for Venezuela? I mean, we got rid of Maduro. We put the rightful, president in there. I agree with that. She was the one that the people picked. Let's put her in there. But let's not kid ourselves. It's all about the oil. This is all about oil and controlling the oil because we don't want China or Russia to control any of the oil. So that's this whole thing. The whole thing is that we don't want them getting a hold of oil and then, then them controlling it. We'd rather us control it. I mean, so it just, I know people are probably, I'm driving some people crazy, by saying these things, but it's just, that's the way it is. I mean, we did not need to go into Iran. I'm sorry. We just didn't, there was no immediate threat from Iran, so I don't believe that. I don't believe that story that was the reason we had to go in because they were about to nuke us. I don't believe that. You can talk to your blue in the face and tell me different, but I'm not going to believe you. It's just, I mean, we're wasting so much money and so much munitions that we've wasted, I mean, and that's the reason. I mean, look, okay, again, my opinion. I think that's the reason that he would push so hard for a ceasefire because we knew we were depleting our stockpile and we can't build them back fast enough because these missiles, Tomahawks and stuff like that, can't be made overnight. It takes a while to build these things and get so we were selling them. I mean, look, I mean we sell them as Trump's words, we sell them, we sell them to everybody, this and that, and everybody has Tomahawks, and and that goes to the bombing when he was asked about the school, did the United States were we responsible for killing 152 little girls from the school? Oh no, well maybe well we're investigating that, oh but then it was Iran got a hold of a Tomahawk and launched it themselves at the school to make it look like it was us. That was Trump's response to that. I mean, that has got to be the most stupidest response I've ever heard in my life. Just take the blame for it. We did it. We did it. I mean, he was the only one saying that we didn't do it. And then it was, well, I don't know if we did or not. I'm waiting for them to investigate. If it comes back that we did, I'll accept I'll accept that is what he said. Well, of course you're going to accept it because it was our missile that struck the school, and even Israel said it was our missile that struck the school. So, I mean, it's just it is just so ridiculous that the things that we have to, and I'm so sick of the talking points always the same. No matter what he's asked, he always says the same thing. We destroyed their army. I mean, we destroyed their air force. We destroyed their navy. We destroyed their capability for a nuke. Americans are safer now. Mr. President, what do you say to the American people who are suffering at the gas pump at $4 and almost $5 a gallon of gas? Well, the American people will accept that because, you know what? They're safer now because Iran doesn't have a nuke to nuke us. I mean, it drives me nuts every time that I hear him say that. And it's all the time. That's his response. Well, the stock market's up. The stock market is doing great. You know who's making money? Trump's sons are making money. All his cabinet members' children are making money. Trump himself's making money. Trump's worth what they say now that he's been in office, when he went in office this year, this term, he was worth like 2 billion. Now he's worth like $6.5 billion. I never heard of a president getting rich while they're in there, considering the salary for a president is only 240,000 that he doesn't take. But yet he managed to make just in this first year $4 billion. His net worth is now 6.5 billion. How does that happen? I mean, his sons are getting awarded government contracts. I mean, Eric backed a robot company, and then what they get? They got a huge contract from the Pentagon. I mean, we're being played. We're being played, and just people don't want to see it. People don't want to see it. They want to say, "Oh, Trump wouldn't do that. Trump is here. He's our savior." I mean, he's not our savior. He's not. Look, again, I support Trump, but it's getting harder and harder to support him because he's not the same. And I don't care what you say. You can argue with me. You can send me messages and say whatever. He is not the same guy who ran in 2016. He's not. He went in the first term that he went in green. He didn't know what he was doing. He had a lot of bad advice, a lot of bad advisors, but he did some good things. He was still able to get some things done. He went into it to save this country. I truly believe that. I truly believe that was the reason he did it. And, and he was trying very hard to fix the mess that Obama and whoever else before them destroyed this country. And and like I said, I was right there. I was top of the list, cheering him on, the first term. Halfway through the term, something happened with him. He kind of lost his way. I don't know what happened. I mean, he got a little off track. And I started noticing it then, and the things things just kept snowballing from there. COVID and the stupid things that he said then. And, it snowballed. And then 2020 came and then the election happened. Okay. Let me say this before let me start with this. I agree 100% the Democrats cheated. I don't believe that Biden was able to get 80 something million votes and Trump, whatever he got. I don't believe that. At the same time, I didn't agree with all the crap that was going on and what we were doing. This and that. We're not going to leave the White House. And then January 6th happened. And then, and then the shit with Pence. And, I didn't agree with all that stuff. I thought that we should have just, we took it. We lost. Excuse me. We lost, okay, lick our wounds, all this stuff about 2020 trying to overturn the election and, we're going to prove they cheated. We got everything. We got all the evidence and then nothing. Here we are 6 years later and we're still talking about 2020. 2020 is done. The only one talking about 2020 is Trump because the American people have moved on. The American people realize that the Democrats cheated. They understand that. They say, yes, okay, I agree, 100%. They cheated, but there's nothing that's going to be done. I don't care what you tell me. Oh no, Trump says they're going to overturn it. And then it's going to be, someone told me the other day, she told me, oh, what's going to happen is that they're going to see that it was cheating. And then they're going to give him another term because he should have been president then. That's never going to friggin' happen. Never. It's never going to happen. So I don't know why people have that in their head. And I know people, trust me, I know people close to me that think that. And I think that is the most ridiculous thing because it's not going to change anything. Yes, okay, you may prove it. Well, I mean, I've been waiting for 6 years. I've been waiting for them to show the proof that they cheated, and we haven't seen it. We hear that we have it. Republicans say, "Yes, we have it," but I haven't seen it. You know, I mean, little things here and there. You hear, "Oh, well, this person did this or this person did that," but nobody's gone to jail. Nobody's produced anything. Let's talk about who lost things. Um Rudy Giuliani lost everything because he backed this 2020 crap and saying that, and trying to do all those lawsuits. And, we lost every lawsuit we put up. I think we might have won one, if that. But we lost everything. Rudy Giuliani lost everything. He got disbarred. This guy took it hard. Pillow guy, Mike Lindell, same thing. Fought, pushed all these things. Yes. Oh, it happened. Oh, they cheated. Oh, this and that. We're gonna expose everything. Oh, this and that. And what happened? This guy's practically bankrupt. His pillows are no more. Nobody buys his pillows anymore. His pillows, I think you can find them in a dollar store now. That's how bad it is. But did Trump help them? Absolutely not. And I said this the other day to somebody. I said, look, Trump did not lift a finger for the pillow guy or Rudy Giuliani. And they put their name out there. They put their whole life out there to defend him. And they lost everything on it. And he lifted 0 fingers to help them. Nothing. So I don't agree with that. I don't, is it some of their stupidity? Absolutely, because they trusted that Trump was going to help them, that Trump was going to, come to the rescue when they needed it, because they were faithful servants, and then nothing happened. So now let's jump ahead. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I got so much running through my head that I'm trying to think about. Let's talk about Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Megyn Kelly, all these people who used to be hardcore Trump supporters now have all turned on him. Why? Why do you think that is? People say, "Oh, well, they're traitors. Oh, they weren't real MAGA." They were as MAGA as you get. There was no more. They were MAGA. They were the ones pushing Trump. They're the ones that helped Trump get elected. And then what's he do? Because let's start with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She didn't agree with something that he said and did, so she was vocal about it. And what did he do? He targeted her. He made, she's a traitor. Oh, this and that. She's this and that. She's, and then they start to rumor about her, she became a millionaire, and where'd she get all this money from? Not to mention, so my argument with that was, one, who cares how much money she has? Because if you're going to look at her, you need to go and look at everybody in the Senate and everybody in Congress who's made a living off of the American people. They don't do their job. None of them. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, you don't do shit. You congressmen, you all suck. All you Senate, you all suck on both sides of the aisle. You don't do shit, but yet the American people are stupid enough to put you back in office and let you fleece the American people, because that's all you're doing. So then, and look at Alex Jones now. Alex Jones was super hardcore Trump supporter, and now look, he still supports Trump, like me, but he's very critical now. And he I like, and I say this to everybody, that these people, they took the blinders off. They took the Trump blinders off, and they see things for the way they really are. They see the things that are going on, and they understand that this isn't the same Trump. Just like I was saying earlier, this isn't the same guy who was in the first term. This guy, he came into again, my opinion, the reason he ran for this term was one, to avoid prosecution, because he knew if he got in there, if he won, he could get all those things dismissed. And he did. I mean, and it worked perfect. He got rid of all the charges against him. Now, does that mean that after his 4 years that all those charges aren't going to come back against him? I believe they will. I believe they will. I believe that they'll be back, and so anyway, I believe that that's why he ran. He ran, one, to avoid prosecution. Two, he wanted to take revenge on every single person that went against him. Every single person who wronged him, he was going to make sure that he got him. That he would make sure that he did the same thing back to them. Do I do I disagree with that? No. But my thing was, all right, you can do that, but let's get the country back on track first. Let's get back everything the way it needed to be, and then take care of that stuff. But he didn't do that. He just went doing all kinds. He's all over the place. He's not sticking to one thing. I mean, he's threatening everybody and threatening all the countries, and this and that, and everybody's like, oh, that's great. Well, no president's ever done that before. But who cares? I mean, we're the most hated country around now. We're not respected. You can guarantee that we're not respected like we were before. When he was in first term, we got respect. He brought respect back to this country. Now, nobody cares. I mean, these countries don't care anymore because they know that what he says and what he does are two different things. Go back to Iran. How many times has he said, "Oh, if Iran doesn't do this, that's it. We're gonna destroy them." Oh, never mind. I take it back. We're still negotiating, so I'm not gonna bomb them. Or things like that. I mean, it's just he's made it so that the threats don't care anymore. All these threats that he made when the war first started, and he wanted all these other countries to join in, and they all said, "Screw you, Trump." They all gave him the big finger and said, "You know what? You started this, do it yourself." In his first term, nobody would have done that. Nobody would have, told him to go screw himself. But now they know that it's a whole different ball game now, and countries are not afraid to say something and stand up to him. I mean, Spain and the UK and all these other countries who are saying, you know what, you did this. Because now he's not only screwing with our economy and our gas prices and our food prices, he's screwing with the rest of the world. Because now the rest of the world, because Iran's saying, you know what, we'll hold out as long as we can. You bombed us. All right. You took out a lot of our stuff, but we're going to hang on with the little that we have, because they know the longer it goes, the more pressure he has on him to end it. And that means good for them, because the more anxious he is to end this, the more willing he's probably going to do is agree to a lot of the things that they're asking for. And we're seeing that already. I mean, he's taking a lot of heat. He's taking a lot of heat for the gas prices. He's taking a lot of heat for the food prices. He's taking a lot of heat for, just the economy, period. And, even though he plays it off, and he uses the same talking points that I said earlier. Oh, well, the American people, they're okay with the gas pump prices being high because they're going to drop like a rock when this thing's finished. It was 3 weeks ago. It was, oh, the war will be done. I give it about 2-3 weeks and we're done. And then we came out yesterday and said the same exact thing. Well, I think the war will last another 2 or 3 weeks, and then then we'll be done. Uh, that's what happens when you go into something without an end game. We had no end game. When we went in, he thought, I really believe that he thought that we would bomb the crap out of Iran and then they would just give up. They would just say, well, all right, we'll do whatever you want. But they didn't. And I knew that they wouldn't. And if you're truthful and you actually tell the truth and aren't afraid to speak out, you would say the same thing. You would know that they were not going to just give up and say, all right, you win. We'll do what you want. That was not in their nature. So, I mean, it was ridiculous to think that was going to happen. And then once they didn't, we didn't know what to do. All right, well, we bombed the crap out of them, and they're still defiant. They're refusing to open the strait. They're bombing other countries. I mean, but we're told that we're destroying them. We've destroyed their capabilities to launch missiles. Well, but somehow they still managed to do it. But nobody's talking about that. Everybody just repeating what Trump says. Oh, we destroyed their military. We destroyed our Air Force. We destroyed their Navy. We destroyed their capability of having a nuke. But yet, they're still launching missiles. They're still launching drones. They're still keep the strait closed. I mean, we're going to put a blockade. The United States is going to put a blockade. So we put a blockade on their blockade. That's all we did. Excuse me. We put a blockade on their blockade, thinking that it would hurt them, which it hasn't, because they found another way. They found instead of using the strait to get their oil out, now they're taking it through Pakistan and going a different way. So they found another way to go against what we're doing to them. So not only are they're blocking the strait, we're blocking the strait, and then all the other countries whose ships are sitting there can't go anywhere. Now, all right, now we're going to do Operation, I don't know, Patriot of Freedom, or I don't know what the hell he called it this time. That we're going to guide these ships through. I mean, so far I haven't really. I mean, I think maybe 3 or 4 ships we've actually done that to. But there's hundreds sitting out there waiting, that have been sitting out there since the beginning of this thing. I don't know. I mean, excuse me. But it just doesn't make any sense. This whole thing doesn't make any sense. And I have to go back to the thing that he's just all his oil buddies are making money. All his oil buddies are making money. And nobody can dispute that. And what about these mysterious bets that were made? When Hegseth was asked that question, he didn't have an answer. All this insider trading going on. I mean, that's what it equals to, insider trading. I mean, everybody's making money. These mysteriously bets that were bet on when, just within hours, 2 hours of when Trump announced things. And then people are making 400, 500 grand off these bets. I mean, it's so ridiculous how much insider stuff is going on, and Hegseth didn't have an answer for that. I mean, don't even get me started on that guy, because that guy, I think, is a piece of shit. Kash Patel, I think, is a piece of shit. Bongino, I mean, he got out. He was smart to get out of there, but he's still a piece of shit, because before, while he was in there, he didn't do anything. And then he tried to convince us, about the Epstein stuff. And don't get, and that's the other thing. This war conveniently happened when all the Epstein stuff was coming to head. You know, all this evidence was being released, and we were finding out more things, and then all of a sudden, now we're in a war, and that's all anybody's talking about. Is just that. I mean, so I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's just the same thing. I keep saying the same thing over and over again. It's a shit show. I mean, and we still have no end game. We don't know what to do and how to get out of there and save face, because if we leave, Trump, well, we'll just leave and leave the strait closed and let the other countries have to deal with it because we don't use it. So, why should we care? And then, it's one thing after another, because Trump speaks, and then I think later they tell him, look, you shouldn't have said that. We need to walk that back. Because I mean, he just says anything. And I want to touch on one other thing. All right, we had this at the White House correspondent dinner, this attempt on Trump's life, which I think is a joke, because first of all, the guy never made it near Trump. I mean, he wasn't anywhere close to him. So to call it an attempt is just a joke. And then when all the videos are coming out now, and you notice that everybody, the White House is quiet about those videos now, because it was a staged event. It was a staged event. Because if you watch the video of the security guy with his canine, you see the guy walk into the room, and then you see the security guy with his dog, and the dog go into the room, and him standing in the doorway, and then talking. You see him talking to him, and then he brings the dog back out, and he turns to start walking away, and then, whoa, what do you see? All of a sudden, this guy comes running out with a rifle. I mean, really? I mean, seriously. And we're supposed to believe that this wasn't a staged event. I mean, come on. You have to be a total idiot to believe anything other. If you believe, and then, that's why we need the ballroom, because if we were in our ballroom, it would have been safer. Please, wherever the president goes, it's a safety zone. It's done in advance. Advanced teams come in to make sure all the security is tightened up 100%. And no, see this? We weren't secure here. That's why we need our ballroom. I mean, give me a friggin' break. Stupid ballroom. Now they want the American people to pony up $1 billion to help pay for this stupid ballroom. I mean, give me a break. Don't even get me started on that, because I know there's more behind that. It's not the ballroom. It's what they're building underneath of it. That's being very kept quiet. So we'll get into that on another show. I think that I'm going to end this here. And I'm going to be back. I'm going to try to, do a couple shows here and there, and we'll see. See what kind of response I get. All right. So that's it for today. All right. Maverick's out of here. All right, guys. Have a good night. Let us know in the comments what you think. All right. See you.
1, 2, 1, 2. Slacker82alpha. Maverick in the booth. Lock the doors. Nobody gets out. Nobody. Left side lying. Right side crying. Think of the names on the ballot. Throw the whole box in the gutter. Red tie.